Hey, good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? This is Jan from New York City. My channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. I like to help people keep their money. I just poured myself another hot cup of instant decaf, my 5-cent cup. I refuse to spend a lot of money on coffee. What's your feelings about that matter? If it's a treat or if somebody gives you a gift card, and to be honest with you, I'm not even in love with some of the flavors from some of that outside coffee, but that's for another show. How's everybody doing today? I hope that this audio video, as always, finds everybody doing well. This is vacation time. The weather is warm in many parts of the world, and a lot of people want to take a little time off from their usual 9 to 5 or whatever other gig you're doing and just want to like zone out and space out. But there's only one little bit of a problem sometimes. Sometimes we don't necessarily have enough of the vacation funds to really fund ourselves the type of vacation we may be planning to do. This is where it comes in handy to have a plan B in effect. What do I mean by a plan B? Well, I am of the ethic of making the most and the best of the stuff that you already have. And, we can have beautiful staycations at home without traveling. Now, one of the things that I used to love to do when I was growing up, for example, I grew up in a family of 5 kids. And my parents, were hard workers and smart workers and hard workers. However, didn't really always have the time to go, let's say, travel in the world, if you will. But, whatever we did, being here in New York, we were at least blessed with, New York has a lot to offer. And if you're a native New Yorker and you don't take advantage of some of the stuff, I hate to tell you this, but there are a lot of people, native New Yorkers will admit to it, that they have never, ever been to the top of the Empire State Building, for example, or they have never, ever taken advantage of, let's say, those little cruises around Manhattan Island, for example, like little things that I consider, a common thing to do. Some people they just don't take full advantage, but you don't have to be a New Yorker to have a good staycation. Just want to allude to some fun memories growing up. And since this is vacation time, so first of all, before I get into that, do you have local parks, local beaches, local amusement areas that you never ever in your own hometown for some reason or another you never seem to get there? You do not have to travel far because a lot of vacation funds goes on the travel, on the actual expense of traveling, not to mention the lodging. So that's why it might be a good idea, if your funds are lower, your vacation budget is lower, to decide upon a quote end of quote staycation where you just do some wonderful day trips. Now, you don't even have to go far in your locality to have fun. For example, my parents were smart enough to say, listen, let's get on the subway and just tell you really, New York life stories here, which the majority of the people here, went through like this growing up. And it was a good thing. I don't regret it at all. All right, let's pack our little beach lunch and, carry the little pails, the shovels, and the lemonade and jump on the subway. That was half the fun of getting there back then. Not so sure at the moment, but that's another story. But back then, I mean, it was part of the fun. For example, just let's say jumping on the F train, which was the name of the train, letter F, or letter D. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I hope I'm not mistaken on that one, and just like hanging out on that until getting off at Coney Island, Stillwell Avenue. Yay, Stillwell Avenue. When I saw the Stillwell, I knew yes, and it was also the end of the line for the trip. So it was either a Brighton Beach or Coney Island. Brighton Beach and Coney Island are like pretty much adjacent to each other. So if you constantly keep walking from one beach to the other, you end up being on the other beach. But it's just like a minor name change. But I'll tell you, Coney Island, the amusements there, it was so fun. The rides were fun. Back when I was a kid, they used to call it Astroland Park back then. And then that changed. Back in my mother's day, they called it Luna Park. And then I think they re-changed the name again. There are some channels which take you to Coney Island all the time. I mean, there's nothing like being a kid and going to the amusements on Coney Island. Then, of course, going to the actual beach and just having fun as a kid playing on the beach. And you know, uh, we didn't really swim in the water, but like we did go in the water, maybe just like jump on the waves. We used to call that jump in the waves. So we used to jump the waves and that funny sensation. How many listeners remember this sensation? Whenever you're standing on the beach, okay, you're at the edge of the shore, and your feet are on the sand, and the waves, the gravitational pull of the waves, it feels like it's just drawing you into the water while you're just like standing there. It's like that sensation. That is so weird, isn't it? But these are the little joys. Also, there are other things that, besides, stopping off at Nathan's on Surf Avenue. First of all, it was never a complete trip to Coney Island if we did not stop off at Nathan's for our Nathan's Frankfurter. Okay. So, of course, we packed a lunch earlier, but then hours later, before going home, before going on that lovely subway ride. That kind of subway ride was interesting because the first part of the ride coming home, you were outside. So we were on the outside rails. And then, of course, we'll go back underground, and hit the other boroughs of the city. But but I remember, nothing, it just did not feel complete without going over to Nathan's for your Nathan's Frank. There's nothing, no experience like it. Now the place is not the most fancy place to look at, yet it's world renowned. Because first of all, that's the home of where they started the Nathan's Franks, like, I don't know, maybe close to 100 years ago. And by the way, if you're interested in anything in reference to Coney Island and its history, it has a long, long history of amusements. I'm telling you, there are many videos showing such amazing film footage. So even if you can't get there, like physically get there, go on over to those videos. They are totally amazing. You can like just type in, the Wonder Wheel or the Coney Island, mention all these names of interest, if this is something for you, even if you take a mental vacation. Suppose you're having an 8 or 9 hour work day, everyone needs a mental break. I don't care. So even if it's just stopping to listen to or view a video, you may get some joy out of that. Cost you a couple of taps on the screen. But anyway, no trip was complete without the stop off at Nathan's. And then, of course, getting on the subway to get home. But I also remember when I got a little older in the latter years, there was and I forgot that this was there until I got older. I said, oh my gosh, there was this carousel. And it was one of the oldest carousels, I think, in the country. Okay, one of the oldest. I always went on the carousel in Central Park. That's another thing we used to love to do on a staycation day trip type day. Going on the carousel. Now, the one that was on Surf Avenue, diagonally across the street, I believe it was from Nathan's. This carousel ride. They still had the rings. Like, for example, if you were on the horse that bobs up and down while you're on the carousel ride, you would grab a ring. They would give you rings. You would just try to toss the ring on this like hook every time that the carousel rotation would hit this certain area. I was always so proud of myself, and I used to get all those rings on the hook every time. You see, it's the little things. It's the little things that make fond memories. It's the mental break from the ordinary day-to-day grind. No matter what you do, even if you love what you do, it's always good to like take a stop, take a break, mental break, physical break. It does not have to cost a lot of money. This is why I'm encouraging you that even if you're not going, quote, away per se, go, do something good for yourself. Like I even suggested, and this might sound silly to the new listener. By the way, if you're a new listener here, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. But something I had suggested to somebody that's on a very tight budget to do something a little unusual. If you have a local bus in your area, I don't know if you do, not everyone does. I was shocked to hear a friend of mine lives in a state that does not have a local bus. I said, really? I was like, wow, just to me it was unthinkable. But anyway, most people do. But most people take their bus ride to the usual stop they always get off at. But what about taking that same bus ride, that city bus ride, for same price, doesn't change the price, I don't think. I know here it doesn't. Remain on to the last stop. What? Yes, a place you've never been to before. Walk around a couple of blocks. Check out maybe one of the local little coffee shops. Don't spend too much money. Like allow yourself X number of dollars or whatever. And we're going to get into that tomorrow. We're going to talk about mad crazy money for a minute tomorrow. But today I wanted to talk about staycations. You're not going to feel deprived. Remember this before I go today. You can still have your vacation. You don't have to travel far. Your vacation is the mental break. A vacation, you have vacated mentally the thing you always do. Even if you love to do it, it is good to take a break from it, even if it's just for a few hours as a day out. There you go. How many people feel great, even if you just go to the mall for a few hours or just walk around to your local park or playground or whatever, just for a few hours? You come back, you feel better, you feel refreshed, and you gave yourself a mini vacation. There you go. Hey, listen, I want to wish everybody a very nice day. And never forget this: frugality is never, ever, ever about deprivation. Take good care, everybody. Till next time, have an amazing, fantastic day. Bye bye.